Hello. Today we have the steering components from underneath the 1955 Packard. Apparently there's two different systems that can be underneath these things. This is the Bendix version, and the reading I've done on the forum says that people prefer the Monroe because it's simpler. I don't know. I know there's less that I can do here to rebuild this than I can do with a Monroe cylinder. So the first thing they want us to do is to remove this grease fitting right here. Then they say, mark or scribe the valve housing flange, adapter, and sleeve assembly flange with a punch or scratch awl to assure proper assembly. I do have scratch marks here, but I'm going to just put a marker here. Okay. Remove the control valve cap and the gasket, and then remove the self-locking nut and washer from the valve spool bolt. They want us to take these bolts off here. Oop. And we do have a new gasket. And then this is the locking nut. Remove the cap screws which hold the sleeve assembly, adapter, and valve housing together, then separate these details. So they want us to loosen these bolts here. Use a small punch, tap out the pin that locks the socket tube, stop screw, and the valve spool bolt together as shown in 71. Unscrew the stop screw from the socket tube. Right here is a pin, and we have to push that pin out. And then we can unscrew using a small screwdriver, snap the dust shield off of the sleeve and the ball stud. Remove the ball stud and the details from the sleeve as shown in figure 72. What they're talking about is this. We're going to snap this sleeve off. So that comes off. And then this plunger comes out. And the spring. Okay, so this is completely disassembled. Remove the end caps, rubber seals, and spool valve from the valve housing, figure 74. Shows the position of the valve, seals, and caps as they function in the housing. The lips go in. That's what they're going to tell us. So push this spool valve out, and that little cap comes off. Push that out of there, and that little cap comes off. What happened to the other valve? What happened to the... Oh. Okay, so we are completely disassembled. So it's time to put it back together with the new seals. Reassembly. Everything is supposed to be coated with ATF transmission fluid. Here's an old washer, another washer. We have a new one in the rebuild kit. There is a difference between each end. This end is thicker than this end. It's a tight fit, so this has to go this way. And then this one goes on here. So the lips go in. Now the easiest way to install this thing is to actually put the spool valve in the valve body. And then slide the seal down on it. And just work it in carefully. Okay. Whew. So the cup side goes against the valves. Figure 76 shows the end of the housing in which the Figure 76 shows the end of the housing in which the thin cup is installed. Figure 77 shows the end of the valve in which the thick cup is installed. Refer to figure 73 and assemble the details into the sleeve. Alright, so this is the thick cup and it goes on this end. This is the thin cup and it goes on this end. There's a little lip, so the lip goes out. Okay. I do apologize, the manual has left me up the creek. It talked about reassembling of the valve, but it didn't talk about reassembly of this end link. But it's pretty straightforward. This probably being the trickiest part. Okay, and then we take another cup that sandwiches in that stud. And then we take the plunger and the spring and we put the spring end in, so we got the plunger facing out. And now what we got to do is slide this thing over. Take the spool nut and put it inside whatever this is and screw it in. Now, because they left me up in the air, I don't know how tight this is supposed to be, but this is a piece of suspension. So this is a piece of steering components with a ball joint in it that goes directly to the linkage. So I would say this is kind of probably want to be in here fairly tight. And now we got to get it to line up with one of these holes. Looks pretty good. Yeah. Now we pull the spool nut out so the slot in the head of the spool numbers line up with a hole, and put this pin in. Whoops. Put the pin in and keep it from falling out. And then slide this back in the bore, and that keeps the pin in. This sleeve goes on. Then the adapter flange has got a big opening. Goes on like that. We check for our lineup marks, and that's not the right way. There it is. There's our lineup marks. And then this slides into here. Checking for lineup marks. Yep, good to go. And we put our Alumite fitting back in. Tighten the stop screw until the spool bolt cannot be rotated using finger pressure. This is the stop bolt. Obviously I can move it there. We want to tighten this up to a point where it doesn't move. Right there, it's down solid. Then it says the stop screw should then be backed off, the stop spin installed at the point where the spool bolt can be rotated using finger pressure. So what they want us to do is to back this bolt off just a little bit. And now I can rotate that. I can move it around. We have a new gasket. I'm going to install it on the end here. There you have it, another video.